If you're a facilities manager at a university, you know students rely on the cafeteria for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and the occasional late-night snack. So when a dishwasher breaks down and dirty plates pile up, the mess hall can turn messy in the blink of an eye. Enter Grainger. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast delivery, the product you need now is never far away. So you can turn that dishwasher back into a lean, clean washing machine. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Radio, and listen, there are no people better on the air to give you the best in conservative.
Oh, sorry, that's for a Democrat show.
No matter what the technical difficulty is, this man is a professional. He goes all the way.
What you represent to them is freedom.
Was an extremely great conservative commentator. We're tearing it up on Wednesday night. This is awesome. This will allow me to retort.
Well, this is Jersey Joe for the Reaver Comic Sense Show. 8 p.m. on shrmedia.com.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe. The Jersey Takeover is here. We have expanded at 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember to join the live chat. Go to shrmedia.com, click on the chat room, join the conversation. If you want to watch a live stream of the show, just go to Reaver.one, click on the live stream button, hit play. You'll get a live stream. So, where should we start? Hang on. Give me 1 second. We'll get right on with the show. We're going to have a little fun. What? Sending a text to the boss. All right, so we're going to get started on a subject that I love, and it's political, but not political. I'm going to shake it up a little bit today for the beginning. As everybody also knows, real quick, it is March 1st. That means it's Super Tuesday. We got elections in, I believe it's 12 states. I've heard 10, 11, 12, 11, 12, 11, 12. Well, one of them's a district. We got 12 elections going on today. And let's see how they turn out tonight. Which means I got a late night tonight, which is par for the course. I usually don't go to sleep till like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning anyway. Sometimes 4 or 5. I worked my whole career night shift. I say night shift, I start yawning. So I'm kind of used to it. I'm not a day person. But there was an open letter from a psychologist. Yeah, psychiatrist. Whatever. She's psycho. And it's, Dear gun advocates, some of you want pistols to protect yourself and your families. Some are vigilantes like George Zimmerman. I like how she has to point out he was. There was an incident that he used a gun to defend himself. That doesn't make him a vigilante. Is he a nut job? Yeah, the guy's got some problems. Who want to keep neighborhoods safe? Some are and some are police, some of whom need to use weapons more responsibly. Some shoot defenseless animals for sport. I love it. Defenseless. Yeah. And some own military weapons that can mow down large groups of school children or moviegoers. Well, what's funny is I could buy the rifle that shoots a .223, which is the same caliber that the AR-15 fires. Yes, I know it shoots .556 also. It shoots both. So, that rifle is not looking at being banned. They go on this military weapon. Well, it was a civilian weapon first off. The AR-15, when it was owned by Armalite, it was developed civilian, and they were trying to get it for military purposes because, well, that's where the money is, military contracts. And it was shot down multiple times where they sold it off to Colt. The Colt converted it to the M16, which is the military version, and has been used there for several decades. I think it's now the M4. Dang it. Can't stop yawning now. The M4 and the AR-15, which is a civilian rifle, is used home defense. Before all this little brouhaha with Obama started, the Department of Homeland Security had the AR-15 labeled as the best home defense weapon. This woman does not know anything about weapons, and that's the problem that with this debate. You have people that have zero knowledge. Zero. Now, let me adjust this. Having problems with the camera. That should do it. Nope, that didn't solve anything. Dang camera. There we go. Still same position it was. That was a waste. The problem is people that get in this debate, they have no knowledge, zero knowledge of weapons. They have no knowledge of firearms, which puts them at a huge disadvantage. And they talk about the emotional thing. That's all they're running on is emotions. They have no knowledge in weapons. They have this pseudo half-ass Psych 101 babble about the psychology of guns. And if this woman is actually a psychiatrist or psychologist, yeah, I would not be going to this woman. She scares the crap out of me. So, she is writing to this last group. Please help me understand. Well, very easy. It is a weapon that is pretty much used for target practice. It is used for hunting purposes. And a large amount of people are using that for hunting. And it also depends on what you're hunting. A home defense. We've had one or two incidents of some nut job using it. Usually under 300 people are killed a year with it. And you have to look at that stat of the assault rifle. I hate using that term, but that's the way it's classified. That is justified police shootings. Majority of them are. So when you look at these numbers, you got to break them down. It's not just criminals. It is legal self-defense has been used with these weapons. But you want to stick on this like 0.01% or some crazy low number like that have used it for evil purposes. And she goes on to it may be a constitutional right to bear arms, but the Constitution said we have the right to bear arms in a militia. There again, she does not know her basic English. Number one, you have to look, as I've said multiple times, you have to look at militia back when the Constitution was written. Militia meant any person of military age. Military is different than militia. Those arms being muskets at the time. Yes, and they were military weapons also at the time. And it's guns that you shoot once, taking much time to reload, not an AK-47 weapon. Here's the problem that she doesn't understand. Those muskets were military weapons. They were assault weapons. That's what was used in the military. So if you do want to go back to comparing it to military, fine, I get to have everything that the military has. By your own logic, I get to have everything that the military has. Because the musket was a military weapon. She wants to understand. Please help me understand. First, you have to educate yourself again, ma'am. You have to educate yourself. You have a very lack of knowledge of all of this. The Constitution does not say the militia is the only one that has the right to bear arms. Militia is not military. It's pretty easy here. Why these weapons? Are you waiting for a once rare but now more frequent mass shooting or another shooting so you can save the day planning to kill the bad guys? How many times might you have the opportunity in life? One can always hope, I suppose. Well, here's the thing. I never want to pull my weapon. I never, ever, ever, ever want to pull my weapon. But I would rather have one than need one. And not have one. And that's the part this woman doesn't understand. No one knew that day my father was going to get shot. You never know when that is going to happen to your family. You never know when that is going to pop up. You never know when you're going to need that weapon until the day you need it. I don't ever want to pull my weapon. Never. But if it's the choice between myself, my family, my wife, my kid, my parents, I'll pull the weapon. And that's the part you don't understand. It is for self-defense. It is to protect just in case that one day it happens. And if you don't have it and you need it, it's too late. It doesn't come out with a good outcome. And if you survive something like that, you end up going through 23 surgeries in a 10-year lifespan. So tell me how your strict gun laws have helped us. They haven't. We just recently had a shooting. What was it, Kansas? The guy was banned from having weapons. And he got weapons through the black market, which we have been saying will happen. You ban weapons, they will still get weapons. And that is the part that this woman cannot comprehend. This has nothing to do with the legal owners. These laws are restricting and making it harder and harder. And that is what the Democrats are after. That's what they're doing from the think tank they had done. You may not understand all this, and you really should educate yourself before stepping into this, ma'am. And then she goes on, have you listened to the police chiefs who say they don't want their staff entering an active shooter scene where bad shooters and good shooters are battling around innocent family and children, unable to discern who is bad and good? Do you think you could shoot your AK-47 and hit only the bad people instead of innocents at will? Well, understand this. I have heard several sheriffs, which are like police chiefs, so you understand, who want their citizens to be armed because it does lower the chances of these shootings happen. The part that she does not comprehend is these mass shooters pick out gun-free zones. You pointed out about the movie theater. He went to, what was it, four other movie theaters, and he didn't pick those. Why? Because they were not gun-free. He knew people were armed in there. He did not want people taking shots at him back. It takes one good shooter, one good shot, and it ends the whole situation. You don't have that back and forth. And if they walk in and there's multiple shooters shooting at one person, the police know who the good shooters are. It's not hard to be able to separate who's who, because the people that are law-abiding will listen to the police at that time. The police may mistake you. They might shoot and kill you. You are responsible for where your shot goes. So, yes, you do have to understand when you pull that trigger, you have to know where is that shot going after it leaves the body of the bad guy. So, that's something that you don't understand. That is something that anybody that trains with weapons has been infused with. It's know your target, know what lies behind your target, because you are responsible. See, this woman has never taken any classes, any knowledge of guns. And then she tries to go on about maybe you don't feel good about yourself or your life, and you need to boost your confidence and self-esteem by openly carrying a giant weapon, hiding your disappointing body parts, and or psychological distress. Why do they always have to go there? Do they think that they're trying to shame us and we're going to stop carrying? Maybe you really are fearful, thinking that Muslims are taking over the country. And if not Muslim, that perhaps black or brown men or boys are wreaking havoc. Maybe you have been severely traumatized and need help. Maybe you need to get off your lazy ass, take some classes, and understand. You need to understand what is going on. You live in this bubble. And let me tell you, some of the craziest patients I've ever had, and I mean crazy, woohoo, need a straitjacket, have been these psychiatrists, psychologists, these nut jobs. So this woman already has several counts against her. And then she wants to go on, but we are going to continue with it right after a break. And you're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense with your host, Jersey Joe. Right here on SHR Media, SHRmedia.com, HBPundit.com, and RebootingLiberty.com. We'll be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on SHRmedia.com and HighPlainsDailyNews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
you got a business. That you didn't build that.
A team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying cow for the stupid bro.
Sackhead Clint.
all good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it is the Reaver After Dark, hosted by Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe, and Jersey Crash, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you missed any of the Reaver of Common Sense or Reaver After Dark show, just go to Reaver.one. While you're there, click the like button so you can keep up with everything Reaver. Now, back to the show.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. We're going to continue with this. Actually, that's what I should do. Let's get my damn glasses on today. Oh, I need to shave my head. It's getting too long. And yes, I have tattoos. So, this woman goes on about tiny children, or wait a minute, I, for one, am extremely frightened of you because you hold my and my family's lives in your hand when you carry your weapons of mass destruction around our schools, parks, and churches. Tiny children find your weapons thinking they are toys, forever ruining or ending their own lives. Who gave you the right to endanger so many people? The bad guys. These criminals that run around shooting innocent people. I tell you what, the church my brother goes to, they have volunteer staff that are armed security to make sure that everybody is safe. My daughter's school has 2 armed security guards. And up to 2 to 3 sheriff officers walk through that school every day to make sure that the students are safe. If you have a fear, maybe you need to go see somebody. Because you must piss yourself and fall into a fetal position when you see an officer open carrying. And I hate to tell you, most of the public, not all, have more time at the gun range than police officers have at the gun range. I'm not saying the cops are not trained or don't train. It's their job. So after a while, they don't want to go do that constantly. So don't just say because we're everyday citizens carrying that we're untrained and we're going to endanger. The criminals endanger our lives. The criminals put us at risk every day. And people like you who come up with these dumbass ideas, these moronic ideas, and it shows how much of your training and your knowledge is not there. You really don't have any knowledge when you think that gun-free zones are the answer. When you think that gun-free zones solve the problem. No, it doesn't. It causes a problem. It was written by Barbara Sanders at LCSW, is a psychotherapist in Nashville. Well, Nashville, I hope to God you don't go talk to this woman. And she ends it with, and then maybe we can have a safe, honest discussion about your fear, your anger, and your obsession with power, control, and violence. Maybe we can talk about your lack of knowledge. You have no knowledge into this. You have no knowledge on what it takes to protect your family. You're willing to put the safety of your family into people that won't show up until it comes time to put the bodies in a body bag. That's who you're putting your safety into. Cops cannot be there. You don't have a cop in a pocket. They can't always be around when everything happens. And 9 times out of 10, cops are there to clean up the mess afterwards. This is not a knock on the cops. They cannot be there every waking minute to watch your back. So stop being lazy. Stop expecting everybody else to do it. Go take some courses, get some knowledge, and then come back to this conversation. Otherwise, you're just another anti-gun, lack of knowledge, uneducated. And I'm not talking within your psychotherapist, because you're going to try to use that and analyze the population. Well, I don't need that. I don't. What I need is make sure that my daughter and my wife are safe at all times. My daughter knows. And if you bring children up into the gun culture and you educate them and you give a solid fear that it's not a toy, my daughter understands it's not a toy. She's understood for years. She knows not to touch my guns. If she wants to, she comes and gets me, and we will do it safely. She understands that they're not toys and that they will kill. We go to the gun range. I have a special gun for her. It's a 25 caliber. It's a pop gun. And it's safe. If you teach and you educate yourself, guns can be safe. This woman has no knowledge, zero knowledge. In her first paragraph, she showed that she had no knowledge. You don't impress me with your throwing around. You're a psychotherapist. You're a psycho, all right. Nashville, beware of that woman. Beware of that woman. Because her psychotherapist analyzing is way off. She doesn't know what the hell she's talking about. And just because that, she proves that just because you have a degree does not make you knowledgeable. So the political cowardice of the anti-Trump Republican elite is really showing. I mean, Trump's getting endorsement after endorsement after endorsement after endorsement right now. It's like the floodgates have opened. But you have Senator Ben Sasse of Nebraska says he cannot vote for Donald Trump if he wins the Republican nomination, but has not endorsed any of Trump's rivals either. Not even Senator Ted Cruz, who needs the help. Which is kind of funny because the Republican Party has all their politicians taking pledges that they can only vote Republican. And he's run his mouth saying he's going to vote third party. A lot of hypocrites within the Republican Party right now. A lot of hypocrites. Former Republican, speaking of hypocrites, nominee Mitt Romney throws bombs at Trump, recycling the lines that hurt him in 2012. Yeah, he's using the lines of Obama that hurt him and throwing them at Trump. Real great conservative. Oh. But has not bothered to boost his presumed alternative, Senator Mark Rubio. The GOP elite is rotting tabular of political cowardice. Time was an elected leader picked a primary candidate and stuck with them. If that candidate lost, well then honor and principle demanded they go down together until the convention offered a chance to reunify the party. Now, however, like groundless gaggles of liberal art majors, the Republican brass are afraid to leave their safe space. Instead, they pick importantly at the probably party nominee in a pretentious fit of postmodernist picturesque. Rubio, who talks about unmasking Trump, what a delightful deconstructionist. Little crit phrases like is gave the game away when he said Friday that the Republican Party will split apart if the Donald is nominated. Note that the passive language will be split. He didn't dare take personal responsibility for that threat to quit the GOP if he loses. Trump has threatened to leave openly, but demands he be treated fairly, not that he be guaranteed to win. That's the difference. He will take a loss if it's a level playing field. All you want is to be treated fairly, and there's a lot of people that are acting like little children. Cruz, to his credit, says he will back the nominee regardless, and I got to give Ted Cruz credit on that. He has come out and said even if he loses, sorry, I was getting call-in on the show number, and no information came up on it, so it was really weird. If you're trying to call into the show, I'm sorry, Google's having a problem. Ted Cruz, I will give him credit. He has said that he will back Trump. He will back him if he loses. And I'll give a man that he has honor. He's not acting like a little child who's not getting his way, which several in the party are. And Rubio's acting like that. Romney, Sassy, they're all acting like little children. Graham is still throwing a tantrum that he lost so horribly. Even though, every answer to every question was the same. I'm going to send troops to Iraq. I'm going to send troops to Iraq. I'm going to send troops to Iraq. Man, that man made it look bad for us. Bad. The case against Trump is arguably powerful and growing stronger. But when the National Review puts its best team together to make that case, they did not have the guts to back an alternative. That was before a single vote had been cast, before it was arguably too late. Now Trump's haters hide behind a false controversy, and even Bill O'Reilly stepped up to it and said this is bullshit. Trump did not. All right, during that interview, he got caught off guard. Dumb moment for Trump. Not going to say it wasn't. He got caught off guard. Stumbled, came up with a dumbass excuse, and went on. He got caught. He got caught with his pants down when, I wouldn't have expected that question, but he has to expect those kinds of questions, especially out of a liberal interview like CNN. He had already denounced the supposed support. And David Dukes even came out and said, I didn't support shit. He didn't support him. If you actually looked at what was written and what Duke said is he said people should vote for Trump and that he's not supporting. He is not supporting Donald Trump. But everybody jumped right on the bandwagon and ran their mouths. He denounced twice. He denounced back in August. There were some KKK members that shot their mouths off, and Donald Trump denounced them. This past Friday, right after it came out about David Duke, he denounced it. Then he was doing an interview with CNN, and he got caught up on a trick question. Not trick question, but he wasn't expecting it, and he got caught with his pants down. It happens. It was stupid of him. He should have done better on that one. Shit happens. Go on. But now they were trying to make this big to do about nothing. Even Bill O'Reilly, who's been hammering Trump, came out and said this is bullshit. A lot of the pundits that have been hammering Trump have said this is bullshit. He's not supporting KKK or David Duke or any of that. It's a whole bunch of bullshit. And the Republican Party needs to watch out, because this is what doesn't matter who the nominee is. It could be Cruz, it could Romney, Rubio. They're going to pin the racist on the Republican, and that's what they do. All right, it's that time again. Oh, it's always time for those lovely breaks. With that, you're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com, rebootingliberty.com, and hppundit.com. We'll be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. You didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying Catholic, stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it is the Reaver After Dark, hosted by Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe, and Jersey Crash, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you missed any of the Reaver of Common Sense or Reaver After Dark show, just go to Reaver.one. While you're there, click the like button so you can keep up with everything Reaver. Now, back to the show.
done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe. It's appalling. Yes, they're against Trump. There's a group. Congratulations, you have the right to do that. But you are such... It shows the political eliteness and how scared they are. They don't even take sides in the matter. They hide behind, well, Trump and mock him, but they won't take sides. Because they're afraid to... it looks like, the way polls are looking, that Trump's going to be the nomination or nominee. So that means they would be backing one of the losers. And they don't want that. God forbid you actually commit to something. Needless to say, also, I don't know, I woke up and the sore throat that came on that quick has gone that quick. But another option, stop throwing tantrums about Trump and start building a serious congressional opposition. The kind that will do to Trump what it was afraid to do to Obama for more than 7 years. And the one thing I'm getting tired of is he talks about there's room for negotiation and everything. Okay, that's what our government is supposed to be about, negotiating, to give and take. It's called compromise. You give a little, you take a little, you go back and forth. That's how things are supposed to get done in the legislation. Not this one-side-take-all bullshit. We've had that for 7 years now, and it hasn't worked. So now you want Ted Cruz to go in there and do the exact same thing that Obama did and bitch about nothing getting done. You'll be no better than the Obama supporters and what has happened the last 7 years. Reagan worked with the Democrats. He negotiated. He would give and take. That is how you get things done. It's not always me. You sound like the goddamn new generation. But because you have conservative values, it's different. No, it isn't. This is not a Republican government. This is not a Democrat government. This is by the people. And when we put you in there, yes, we want certain things done. But we also want you two to work together, not like a bunch of goddamn children going at each other. They ought to rename it from Congress to high school, because that's the way they're acting. Damn. I don't want him to lay down on everything for the Democrats, but we need to work together to get shit done. And that's a give and take relationship, people. Give and take. We elected the Republicans to go into Congress to stop Obama from doing everything that he wants. And what'd you do? You laid down for the opposition, but you're fighting your own goddamn party. You'd rather fight your own party than fight the opposition. It just... People, I find it funny. You'll fight your own, but... And I'm talking within the politicians. They'll fight their own, but they're too afraid to stand up against the people that we put them there to stand up against. And everybody wants to do this Article 5 convention because Mark Levine proposed it. It's been proposed for about 7 years now. You know, that's a little bit dangerous. You want these politicians to convene an Article 5 convention to redo our Constitution and allow these politicians to do it. I know that's at simplest, it's a little bit more than that. But you want a bunch of politicians going in and redoing our Constitution. I wouldn't trust these politicians to redo my kitchen, let alone our Constitution. That is a very, very dangerous suggestion right there. But don't like Trump, do something useful other than mocking and moaning. And stop this, well, he did it. Hey, Cal. I was just talking a few minutes ago. Actually, I woke up and the sore throat's gone. It came on. It left just as fast as it came on. And that's just an excuse for these people to act like children. He started it. Ooh, sugar. I think I just broke my magic pen. Hope not. My magic pen is one of those these things. Has a little rubber tip for working with the touch screens. Stop acting like children. Well, he started and he did this. Well, then be the bigger man and stop it. Because I don't see it that way. I've seen where Trump was responding to a lot of situations. They attacked him. He responded. He didn't respond the way that some people wanted. I'm not going to sit here and go back and forth and argue that. But do something that's useful. And this children, like I talked about yesterday with the official Florida Tea Party Facebook site, let's make this a private group and kick out all the Trump supporters because we can't win the conversation. We're getting overtaken. Well, have you ever thought maybe you're the minority within the official Florida Tea Party? But no, so your solution is to silence the opposition. That is a tantrum. I don't see these Republican leaders standing up and jumping behind Cruz. I don't see him jumping behind Rubio. Today's Super Tuesday. We'll find out how it goes. It just, after a comical charade of making Trump sign a pledge to their party, they have abandoned it. And I've talked about this yesterday. I've been talking about it online. They pushed that, and they were stupid to push this. They made a public outcry that Trump had to sign this pledge because they thought, and they really thought he was going to fail. They never thought, what the hell are we going to do if he wins? And now, it looks like, I think it's, technically 11 states and 1 territory votes today. But now it looks like Trump's going to win the nomination, and everybody forgot about that pledge they made him sign. Lindsey Graham sure as hell forgot about it. I mean, he was one of the mouthiest ones. Oh, he has to sign it. He has to pledge to back whoever the nominee is. We've all signed it. I won't back Trump. Jesus. What they are showing one final time again is how few leaders the Republican Party has. And if anything, Trump has shown how weak the Republicans have been and how easy it is to take over the whole party. He said it. He's reinventing the Republican Party. And he is. And people are upset. Well, if your way was working, it wouldn't have been so weak and so easy. And it's the people that the elites have pushed down our throats to elect. So, now this has me a little worried. And the wording that they put in here. Mexico on high alert again after another truck loaded with radioactive material is stolen. It's not a truck loaded with radioactive material stolen. It is another truck. That means it's more than one truck has been stolen that was loaded with radioactive material. That's not good. And then you wonder why everybody wants to put a wall up. And I go back to everybody is chastising us for wanting to put a wall up. How the poor Mexico. How about the fact that Mexico has a border to the south that they just put up? Because they had illegals coming into South Mexico, and these illegal immigrants were taking jobs away from Mexicans. So they put a wall up to help secure their border. But now they're going to bitch and complain about Trump wanting to put a border up. Obama is trying to divert billions of dollars to several African nations to help them put a border, to put walls up around their country to stop, these militarist groups getting in there and attacking them. We have the Pope screaming. I was just getting to this man chastises. He said it wasn't directed at Trump. That's the funny thing. It was directed at Trump about wanting to build a wall is not Christian, as the man lives behind 40-foot walls. Oh, but it is always open. We welcome everybody. But you have to walk through metal detectors. You have certain areas you have to go through to get in there. Sort of like what we want to do in the United States. You'll be allowed to come into the country legally through certain areas. We want to make sure everything is kosher when you come through. That's all we're trying to do. It's not going to be like, stop, America's closed. No, it's not that. It is not that. It is so we can control who's coming in and make sure what's coming in. It's not going to stop all illegal activity from happening. You can never stop that. But it will help secure the areas. It's laughable. So Mexico is okay to build a border to their south, keep illegals from coming in and taking their jobs. It's bad for the United States to build a border, and you're not Christian. I love everybody all of a sudden with this, you're not Christian. I had it the other night. You're not Christian because I didn't fall in line. So Kel said that she would love to enter the Vatican on a horse, Lady Godiva style. I'm sure they would stop you very quickly, too. But then say it's not Christian of them to stop you because they have walls up. We got a socialist pope that he went into a mosque, took his shoes off, and knelt down and prayed to Allah. I got a question about a religious figure that does that. I don't want them warring against each other, but no. Totally diverted off of the main subject, but let me waste another minute before break, and then we'll get back on topic. We're never going to stop the total influx, what's coming into the country. And as I said, we have politicians, both Republican and Democrat. They don't want to fix the problems. They don't want to fix the problems, whether it's guns, whether it's immigration, financial debt, everything. They don't want to fix that. Because what would they complain about? What would they complain about during election seasons? Yeah, the stirrups would set off the metal detectors, and the bridle. What would our politicians complain about during the election seasons? What would they say you need to elect me to fix? If we actually started fixing all these problems, they would have nothing to complain about. And that's why they don't want to fix these problems. That's why they haven't fixed these problems. 30, 40 years now? This is nothing new. What's going on? I don't know, people. But I do know it's time for that break, and you're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on shrmedia.com, hppundit.com, and rebootingliberty.com. We'll be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver Common Sense Show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying Kafka was stupid, bro.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking, drinking, drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it is the Reaver After Dark, hosted by Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe, and Jersey Crash, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you missed any of the Reaver of Common Sense or Reaver After Dark show, just go to Reaver.one. While you're there, click the like button so you can keep up with everything Reaver. Now, back to the show.
Done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe. Don't ask me, I'm looking at the different screens. I notice I'm blinking a lot when I look at the one screen. Driving me nuts. So I told Kel I had a story because we were... My O key is busted on the keyboard, so I've had to use the 0 key to add in there. But she was talking about horses and bridles. Most everybody that knows me knows I'm a city boy for the most part. What they don't know is I spent a lot of time up on the farm. My parents actually owned a horse they bought from my brother. And it was a colt, and nobody had been able to ride him. And I was under 10 years old. Barely remember it. I've ridden horses before that, no problem. So they get the bright idea of putting me on the back of the horse, because you have to do what they call, I've always heard of breaking the back end. Most horses, the way their spine is, they're not used to people being on them. You got to get them used to that, and it actually, I think it puts a curve in their spine that makes it comfortable for them. Well, all I remember is the horse going batshit crazy, took off, bucking, and I mean, it just went nuts, and I'm holding on for dear life. And then the next thing I remember, I'm being picked up by my parents off the porch. Well, it ends up, it bucked me off, sent me flying, and I landed on the porch. Yeah, I haven't ridden a horse since then again. I mean, it's not that I'm afraid. It just, ever since then, it was like, nah, I don't think so. No, not today. So, but I have spent a lot of time up on the farm. It was actually quite enjoyable. Now that I look back, I wish I could do it more. Actually, I want to. My wife won't let me. I would love to sell this house, find like 20 acres, 10, 20 acres, put a house in the center of it, and just not have to deal with neighbors. She don't want that. But let's get back on to Mexico's on high alert again after another truck loaded with radioactive material has been stolen. The Mexican government has placed 6 states on high alert following the theft of a vehicle with radioactive material. That alert comes less than a year after Mexico had an almost identical case where authorities throughout most of southern Mexico spent days searching for missing material. The warning was issued on Sunday evening by Mexico's Secretary of Interior, just one day after the theft of a commercial pickup that had been transporting industrial material, including a yellow container of rod of iridium 192. The theft of the pickup took place in a small town of San Juan del Rio, which is in the central part of Mexico. In response, the Mexican government placed 6 central and southern states on heightened alert and deployed federal police forces to search for stolen radioactive material. As was previously reported back in April of 2015, thieves stole another vehicle in central Mexico, which had been carrying a container with iridium 192. In response to that theft, the Mexican government also kicked off a massive search for the equipment. That equipment turned up days later when the thieves left the container near a highway overpass. Hey, let's steal this truck. What the hell is that? And just put it out here on the side of the roadway. The theft of trucks containing radioactive material happens more often than the Mexican government would like to admit. In February 2015, authorities recovered 3 pickup trucks containing industrial material and radioactive material. In July 2014, a group of thieves stole another truck containing iridium 192, which had been parked outside of a home as the driver slept. In 2013 incident, a group of thieves who stole a truck loaded with cobalt-60 had to receive medical attention after being exposed to the material. According to the warning by the Mexican government, iridium 192 can be dangerous to human health if removed from the special containers it was transported in. And we should have an unsecure border where, since I understand this stuff gets reported, but what that also just did is it said, hey, ISIS, go to Mexico. Steal the trucks, I'm not saying they could build a nuclear bomb. I'm not suggesting that. But there's something called a dirty bomb where they can explode it and it will send that material over a large area. That's what a dirty bomb is. And it doesn't kill, but it will kill, but in the long term, that's where the injuries and loss of life happen. Dang. But this is why we need a secure border. We don't need people driving a truck over areas and getting that into the United States. If we're going to have irresponsible neighbors like that, we need a secure border. It's not just about the people coming across to work, to live. This is about illegal activities happening and coming over the border. Well, then again, we do have our government doing illegal activities going the other way and giving caches of weapons to cartels. But that's okay. That was a oopsie. Like I said, I met one of the guys that was one of the agents, and he resigned because of that. He said he wouldn't work for an agency that did stuff like that. And they didn't care. They were ready to cover it up and just go on with business as normal. They didn't care. They didn't care they screwed up with Fast and Furious. They were just going to keep going on. Still saying some of the best remedies are natural remedies. Because I've been doing a lot of honey and lemon the last day or two. And I've noticed that everything was getting better. Now this one is the story. I'm not going to go through the whole article because it's pretty sick and demented what this woman did. And it reminds me, going back to Obama, of trying to ridicule the Republicans of being afraid of women, the widows, the Muslim widows, as he put it, in the children. We've seen on multiple occasions of the Arabic women. One thing I do, I actually use lemons to put in it. I know you can buy the lemon tea. I don't exactly like that because I like strong lemon. And since I was a kid, I would eat lemons. I still will. I love grapefruit. The stronger, the better. But back to this. What this woman did is just... She was in her burqa. She was hired as a nanny. They found her on the street holding the child's head, screaming what was reported as Allah Akbar. This was in Russia, this happened. She set fire to the apartment of the family she was working for. She took the child, cut his head off, went out in the street, and was screaming Allah Akbar and showing the kid's head. Now, supposedly the fire was accidental because she did not want anything destroyed. She wanted to show people what she did in the name of her religion. This was one of Obama's women that we shouldn't be afraid of. Yep, that's right there. Does this mean all Muslim women are going to do this? No. But right now we don't know who the extremists are and who aren't. I'm sorry. And that's where I'm worried. Not that I'm hiring nannies. But I can't understand. This family took her in, trusted her to watch over their child. It was a 4-year-old child. 4 years old. And she cut the head. The child was alive when she did this. That's also what the sick thing is. I understand the fears we're having. We have justified fears of what's going on. Doesn't mean every Muslim we see we should beat the crap out of. No. But we gotta together stop this. It's despicable. It's disgusting that this woman would do that to a child that she was taking care of. To my knowledge, I read through the article, and I don't think it said that she had killed the child and did it. So I without that information, I'm taking a guess because I could see him doing that sick shit. When you have such a desire and blind allegiance to a twisted mentality, you wouldn't care. You don't care about that stuff. And Uzbekistan it was in. There's a special unit of the federal police that are now investigating it. And you'll never hear of that woman. You'll never hear from that woman again. You might see a trial. And it was a movie, but it was based on the first serial killer in Russia. At first, they would not admit that they had a serial killer. After decades of dealing with this, and it was the same detective for decades was dealing with this, they finally allowed the United States to come in to help train the detective how to find. And one of the things that I think it was the FBI, they said is, how long have you been doing it? And he told about the decades, and the FBI was like, yeah, after, I can't remember, it was like 2 or 5 years, something like that. We rotate people out so they don't burn out. And the guy broke down. I mean, he'd been doing it for decades, seeing the horror. Well, when they caught the guy, and he got sentenced to life, and it was like the guards took him downstairs, they took him into a shower and said, get ready for a shower. So the guy walks in, and this was, I think, the Hollywood expanding. The guy looked down, sees a drain, and sees the blood stains, light go off, and just a shot happens. I was like, yes. That's probably what will happen to this woman. You'll never hear from her again. And something like this does not deserve to be breathing. It's disgusting what she did. Vile. And no religion should be promoting this. And every Muslim should be standing up and screaming at the top of their lungs against this. Should be standing up and saying, I am against this. I am against what's going on. My religion is not this. I want peace. Then I would be able to say, yes, it is just a few. But when I don't hear the other standing up against it, because sure as hell, if I saw somebody doing, a large group was doing something in the name of Christianity, and I'm not talking, I can't change history, people. And I know Christianity has done things in the past. We're not talking about the past. I'm talking about now. What can we do now? Because the Muslim religion has been at war with everybody for thousands of years. So you want to talk about the past of Christianity, we also have the Muslims have been killing and murdering for thousands of years. I'm talking about right now. We need that the supposed moderates standing up and saying, no more. Stop. You can't use our religion. I don't care how they do it, but do something. You're being silent. And silence can be a guilt factor. I guess that would be the way to say it. It's too much. It's disgusting what's going on. But I'm not going to blame all Muslims for those acts. I can't do it because I don't want people blaming me because I'm white. Even though I get it, I don't want people blaming me for racism just because I'm white. And that's been going on a lot lately. And I don't want people thinking just because I'm a gun owner and I'm some vigilante fearing life. That's the funny thing. Liberals, they lambaste us for the act of a few. But when the stuff with Muslims comes out, they sure as hell don't want anything bad said. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense with your host, Jersey Joe. We'll be right back after these brief messages. You're listening to HPPundit.com, RebootingLiberty.com, and SHRmedia.com. We'll be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver Common Sense Show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on SHRmedia.com and HighPlainsDailyNews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying Kafka was stupid, bro.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on SHRmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it is the Reaver After Dark, hosted by Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe, and Jersey Crash, right here on SHRmedia.com and HighPlainsDailyNews.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you missed any of the Reaver of Common Sense or Reaver After Dark show, just go to Reaver.one. While you're there, click the like button so you can keep up with everything Reaver. Now, back to the show.
Done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe. And Kel, I think that's the best way I've heard it. We've had rhinos. Everybody's heard of rhinos, Republican in name only. We have dinos, the Democrats in name only. And now we have minos, Muslims in name only. And then you have the devout followers of the doctrine of Islam. That I like that. I do. I really do like that, and I'm going to try to use that more often. So, now we're going to go on to Paul Ryan says the House is going on offensive this spring to help GOP win White House. House Speaker Paul Ryan spoke on the Sunday broadcast of the Cats Roundtable on New York City's AM 970 about his upcoming plans for Congress and the 2016 general election. And speaking of New York, it just popped in my head. A recent poll, Trump beats Hillary Clinton in New York. That's bigger than most people are comprehending. That's actually kind of huge, that he can beat her in New York. That shows her weakness. So, but to go back to what we're talking about, he told the host that the House plans to go on the offensive on ideas to show how the country will be different with a Republican in the White House. We're going to roll out of the House this spring, going on an offensive on ideas and saying to the country, here is what we can do to fix America's big problems. If you give us a Republican president to work with in 2017, this is why we think this gridlock and divided government we have isn't working, and we need the American people to break this tie, settle this thing, this broken government. Washington isn't working, isn't listening. Give us the ability to put this agenda in place. And that's what we want to take to the country this spring and talk about it all summer and all fall long. And if you really read into it, he's not getting into, and I'm going to give him credit, he's not getting into the rhetoric. And all he's saying is put a Republican, whoever the Republican nominee is, put them in the White House. But as I said, the one thing that scares me about Ted Cruz is he is going to be the Republican version of Obama when it comes to the subject matter. There's going to be no debate. There's going to be no compromise. There's going to be no working out. It's going to be one side and one side only. And that hasn't worked for 7 years now. And that is going to hurt the Republican Party even more. If we put a Republican in and we start getting bills through and we start working compromises, it can only help the Republican Party. Because then it will prove. You can go and say, see, we told you. We weren't the ones. It was Harry Reid that was blocking. It was Obama that was blocking. We were trying to work with them. They wanted it their way only. Look at this. We have a new president. We have a Republican president. And we are crossing the aisles and we're working together and we're getting bills done. I believe if we get Ted Cruz, it's just going to be he will veto anything that doesn't go his way. I know some people will say that with Trump, but they're also bitching about Trump because he says everything's negotiable, which everything in government should be. This isn't my way and my way only government. It's checks and balances. It's supposed to work across the aisles and work together. That doesn't mean someone's a liberal because they're willing to work with a liberal. Just as if a liberal is willing to work with a conservative, it does not make them conservative. It means that they're doing their job and they're not being childish. My way and my way only. I would think that everybody would have an understanding of this, that it can't be your way and your way only, that we have to work together. We have to just work. I mean, we got to stop this one way only bullshit. It's not working. It hasn't worked for 7 years, so we got to change it. And going the other way, we've been far left, and going far right is not going to solve any problems. And I understand that's against some of these people's values. Well, your values can be childish about not wanting to work with people. I'm not out to insult people. It's just we got to work together. We got to come together as a country and compromise. Compromise is both parties walking away upset. Both parties. Not one party walking away upset while the other one's real happy. Because that is not a compromise, because that means that person that's happy got more than the one walking away that didn't. Both parties should be walking away, bitching and moaning. And that is a compromise. Merkel doubles down and says, I have no plan B on migrant crisis. German Chancellor Merkel has refused to back down over her open border migration policy, saying in a televised interview that there is no point in believing that I can solve the problem through the unilateral closure of borders. I have no plan B, she added. Great. That's a leader I want. That the open borders hasn't worked, and closing the borders isn't going to solve the problem, and I have no plan B. Well, if open borders is the issue, close the border. It's that simple. I mean, we're not talking about rocket science here. According to Focus, Miss Merkel said she was convinced she was doing the right thing. Sorry about that. Despite well over 1 million people entering Germany last year, thanks to her migration policies, she said she was trying to redistribute as many of them as possible to other European countries through the compulsory migrant quota system, and claimed to be addressing the problems causing them to enter Europe in the first place. Yeah, I know, it's... Well, this is the plan. This is what we're going to do. We're going to open our borders. We're going to allow everybody to come in. Well, what if somebody has a problem? Although nobody will have a problem with it. We'll open the borders. Everybody will welcome open arms. What if there's issues? There won't be no issues. Stop being one of those negative Nancys. Well, we've had problems in other areas where they're raping women. Oh, they won't do that. We'll open borders. They'll be all happy. They'll be glad to be here. No, they're rioting in certain areas. Oh, you're just being a nervous Nelly. Let's open the borders. We're having issues, Miss Merkel. No, we're not. And that's basically what she tried denying. Oh, shit, we have a problem. Uh-oh. What do we do? I have no plan B. I give up. Well, let's not we got elections coming up, and let's silence the opposing parties so nobody knows that there's a problem. Maybe that'll work. These countries, oh my God. My dog is smarter than most of these world leaders. She added that dealing with the migrant crisis has been a difficult path, but letting millions of people into the country was good for Germany's reputation. So, yeah, she's a socialist from East Germany yet. But letting millions of people into the country, raping our women, is good reputation. Hey, we're the country of rape. Come on in. Good for reputation. What's your reputation? Of being easy? What's your reputation? Being, open? It's stupidest. Oh my God. It's socialist. The socialism is failing all over Europe. And we have countries like, Canada and the United States going, let's have some of that. It's failing. No, it isn't. That's just your imagination. I love Denmark's president came out and said, hey, Bernie, stop comparing us to you. We're failing. We're having problems here. We're going down the tube. Stop using us as an example. And Bernie's like, I don't trust you on it. I'm going to keep comparing. You want Obama? I'm sorry, that goes to Kel in the chat room. Hopefully she's joking. She says, you want Trudeau? We'll trade you Trudeau for Obama. Because we'll be getting rid of Obama in less than a year or so. And then, if the rumors are true, he's going to the UN to run the UN, to be the UN's leader. Hooray! And the downfall of socialism that I see, and this is my opinion, is the blame of the United States. Because the United States wants to go to socialism because they want all this free shit, just like Europe has. Well, to do that, we've had to cut down our military drastically, which means we can't protect Europe like we've been doing for decades. So now Europe has to start building their military up and taking money away from socialist programs and putting it towards military to protect these countries because America isn't protecting because we're giving free stuff to our citizens. I think that pretty much sums up what's going on. We're not protecting Europe. They have to build a military up, so they don't have the money for socialist programs. We're cutting our military and putting in more socialist programs. And it won't last long because sooner or later, and especially with Americans are like, I'm not going to work hard for you to take it. Screw that. I quit working. And before long, we're going to have a nation of people going, we're not working. Nope. Government, give us money. And the government's going, where are we getting money from? And every time you hear the Democrats go, that won't happen. We've heard that about everything you said. You don't want to ban guns. Nope, we don't want to ban guns. But you did a study how to ban guns. Yeah, so? Well, you want to ban guns? No, we don't. So you spent millions of dollars on a study, and it took several years on how to ban guns, but you don't want to ban guns. Well, why'd you do the study? Because we did. And this is the stupidity that I see going on, and this is what I see with the German chancellor. You know, calls have been increasing for the chancellor to place an upper limit on the number of migrants entering the country. Members of the Christian Social Union, the CSU, Ms. Merkel's Bavarian sister party, have been particularly vocal in calling for a cap, with Bavarian Premier Seehofer. Oh, God, I know I butchered that name. I know I did. Wait a minute. I just know Trudeau is Obama on steroids. I'm going to have to check into that because Obama's bad. And if that's true, holy shit, are you guys in a world of trouble. Wait a minute. You know what? Just on the simple fact that he kicked military personnel off 7 military bases so he can stop the fight against ISIS and then bring in Muslims and ISIS members into your country and put them on military bases. Yes, I think you are right. I'll give you that one. And for those that don't know, Canada is kicking their military off 7 military bases. All the personnel are getting kicked off. They are stopping the war against ISIS. ISIS has attacked them several times. If you remember, there was the attacks on Canada. It's those quote-unquote lone wolf attacks, but still. So they're stopping the war against ISIS and now putting them on military bases for them to live in Canada. They're giving welfare, full medical, dental, and then they'll be given $2,000 a month plus free space to live. Yeah. That would not go over well in the United States. They were going to try to do that down here in Florida Well, they weren't going to kick the military personnel off, but they were going to house the immigrants on a active military base, and that got shot down real quick. That's real smart. Let's put these migrants, and some of them may be ISIS, let's put them to live on an active military base. Yeah, that's a good thing. Where they're going to be around top secret stuff. Politicians, brainless wonders. It makes you wonder. But you don't have to wonder because you are listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on HPPundit.com, RebootingLiberty.com, and SHRmedia.com. We'll be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver Common Sense Show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on SHRmedia.com and HighPlainsDailyNews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying Kafka, stupid bro.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking, drinking, drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on SHRmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it is the Reaver After Dark, hosted by Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe, and Jersey Crash, right here on SHRmedia.com and HighPlainsDailyNews.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you missed any of the Reaver of Common Sense or Reaver After Dark show, just go to Reaver.one. While you're there, click the like button so you can keep up with everything Reaver. Now, back to the show.
Done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe. Just I thought seems to be an automated call coming in. Yeah, and that's bad. Kel's talking about in Canada that they have, 25,000 immigrants now in Canada, 25,000 more coming by this summer. 2017, another 50,000. All Muslims. There's no Christians, no Jews in that group. All Muslims. And all are automatically granted Canadian landed immigrant status as soon as they're off the planes. It's not good. And with the politics that's going on here in the United States, this is all I got to say is if you don't back a candidate, that's fine. That's your God-given right. And conservatives were supposed to believe in the Constitution. And part of the Constitution is that everybody has a right to pick their candidate without fear of any reprisals, without fear of intimidation, whether physical or psychological. So those that are, and as I said, this is to all Republicans. Respect each other. I know everybody is on edge, and then the Republican Party establishment has not helped this situation. But remember this, we have to come together after the primary season is done. And this, my way is the only way, is a childish endeavor. We have a choice of coming together as a party and coming together as a people, or just giving up. And we've seen how that happens. We've seen what happens in 2012. We had that. Where people didn't like that Romney wasn't the best candidate. He was our candidate, and a lot of people stayed home, and that hurt us tremendously. Everybody needs to be respectful of each other. This name-calling, insulting is liberal tactics. And stop this. Well, your guy started and your guy... No, you sound like children doing that. We have 3 candidates, well, actually 5, to choose from still. And whoever the nominee is, I will back. And people need to stop acting like children and just do what we need to do for the country. Stop thinking about this childish attitude. It's not helping the country. It's not helping us to heal. It's not helping us to get better. All I'm asking is just respect each other's choices. It is not for everybody to tell everybody who to vote for. That is not what made this country great. What made this country great, one of the things is our voice. One of our main voices is choosing a candidate and backing that candidate. And when I see Republicans trying to silence or take away that choice, it pisses me off, because that is not the Republican way. That is liberal tactics, forcing people to vote for people who they don't want. Through shame, insulting, belittling, all these psychological attacks that are happening. Just stop. You don't like it? Go on to a different page. You don't like what's said? Respond in an adult fashion. This is what I don't agree with. Yada, yada, yada. And go on. It just says, New Jersey's hitting the news, and this is disgusting. The state police boost academy diversity by ignoring background checks. And it seems that there's a lawsuit now. A veteran state trooper alleges in a whistleblower lawsuit she was retaliated against by her superiors after raising objections that police academy background checks were compromised because of pressure to increase racial diversity among state police ranks. She spent 5 months working on background investigators at the time the division was being scrutinized for its lack of black candidates, claims she was reassigned and denied a promotion when she flagged applicants who troubled legal history and criminal background. Court records and administrative documents obtained also show she was, and her and another trooper were disciplined for allegedly leaking information from confidential background investigations to a retired trooper who ran a Facebook page for state police members. She claims in her suit that her superiors, under pressure from State Attorney General Office to boost recruit class diversity on short notice, approved candidates who had been automatically disqualified for having suspended licenses, criminal affiliations, and active warrants. They were going to make state troopers that had active warrants and they had criminal affiliation with groups. That is, the New Jersey State Police has gone downhill, down the ravine, past the cliff, from what I remember the New Jersey State Police being. She was responsible for conducting background checks for the division of the 152nd and the 153rd Academy classes in 2012 and 2013, according to the lawsuits filed February 10th in Superior Court in Mercer County. Both classes were touted in succession as the most diverse in state police history, but they came only after the New Jersey chapter of the NAACP threatened legal action against the division because the division had accepted a class with just 5 black troopers in 2011. Division says the group is the most diversified to ever make it through 24 weeks of training. The 2011 drop in black recruits was seen as particularly troubling for the state police, which historically struggled to grow its ranks in racial minorities and female troopers, but publicly increased its outreach efforts. The division also had spent a decade under federal monitoring for racial profiling and entering into the settlement with the NAACP in 2000 that mandated improved minority recruiting. We're not looking to change the process or lower the standards, said Mr. Warren, the criminal justice chairman of the state NAACP, who has worked with state police on recruitment efforts. But we live in a diversified state. That's a fact. The makeup of the state police needs to represent the state of New Jersey. Warren declined to comment on the case because he was not familiar with the specific allegations. The whistleblower was not opposed to diversity efforts, but raised objections because the division was taking shortcuts. The way to increase diversity is through mentorship programs, forming partnership with local police departments, not through manipulating the process. The suit claims that her and her colleagues flagged a number of individuals who failed background checks based on 24 automatic disqualifiers set forth by the state attorney general. One candidate had been found guilty of tax evasion and had a suspended driver's license. Another had an active criminal warrant, and a third candidate's Facebook account showed ties to the Blood Street Gang, as well as posts from the applicants making race-based comments. This is what they wanted to push through to become New Jersey state troopers. And in New Jersey, the troopers are the top law enforcement of the state. They wanted people with ties to the Blood Street Gang. Blood. One didn't even have a valid driver's license because it was suspended. So what do? He's going to have to be partnered up with somebody to do all the driving because he is not allowed to drive by the state. He was guilty of tax evasion. He's already committed crimes, and that's somebody that should be a state trooper. She claims she and her coworkers later learned several of those disqualified applicants had been forced into the process anyway, amid pressure from Governor Christie's administration. Because the academy was to start shortly, and the Attorney General's office determined it wanted additional diversity, 20 minority candidates who had been automatically disqualified and were no longer part of the process were removed from the disqualified list and put back into the process. I'm all for diversity, but you don't put people into it that are not qualified. You don't have a state trooper that is a gang member. I'm even trying to think of... Yeah, I'm going to put an application in for the state police, and I got a criminal record. I'm part of a gang that goes around and murders and kills freely. And I'm going to put in for a state police job. You know, they had to shit themselves, and they're like, holy shit, I got accepted? But I bet you if I put him, and because I'm white, I wouldn't be allowed to join because I don't meet all their requirements. But because these candidates are black, now they wouldn't allow me, Cal, because I'm white. And you have to have a college degree. There's a lot of requirements, heavy requirements, to become a New Jersey State Trooper. And to allow people that are not qualified to change the qualifications is absolutely disgusting. Well, tomorrow I'll be talking about a little bit. I don't want to go into too much. The results of Super Tuesday. But until then, you're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense, and, of course, hppundit.com, rebootingliberty.com, and the great shrmedia.com. I'll talk to everybody tomorrow. Have a good day. Bye.
I've been around this world, yet I see no end. All shall fade to black again and again. This storm that's broken me, my only friend, yeah. In this river, all shall fade to black. In this river, ain't no coming back. In this river, all shall fade.